There is an illusion right now that the US debt is going to be paid back. I don't see that happening in my lifetime as we cross the $40 trillion number. You can go to usdebtclock.org to take a look at that. And in this video, I want to break down what I think can happen, what's happening right now, and I do make a promise that by the time you finish this video, you'll understand why this country is never paying this money back. So let's get into it, okay? This is an illusion, and it's why $40 trillion might never get paid back, and why the stock market doesn't seem to care. So this is where we're currently at right now as we're recording. There's some even reports that this morning we crossed $40 trillion, and the market, or the debt, is adding $1 trillion every 5 to 6 months. And we wonder why Trump wants the market to cut rates, why the Fed, he wants to cut rates, because it's a snowball effect. And it's crazy because this past couple of weeks, we've seen two different headlines. One headline is like $40 trillion debt incoming. The next headline is stock markets ripping and AI-driven names ripping to the upside, NASDAQ hitting new record highs. But how does that happen? Well, it didn't happen overnight. 2016, you had $19.6 trillion in U.S. debt, according to the U.S. Treasury fiscal data. 2018, $21 trillion. 2020, $27 trillion. And then now it's getting some steam, right? Because the more money that's in the debt, more interest is accruing on that money. $36 trillion, and now we're crossing $40 trillion. So this is a game that the U.S. will never win. See, here's the central idea. The debt was never going to be paid off to begin with. It was going to be outgrown or inflated anyways. Now, that's not a conspiracy. It's how every heavily indebted government in modern history has handled this debt according to size, including the U.S. after World War II. So what's going to happen next? That's what a lot of people want to know. And I look at it like this. When you understand the money supply, and this is why stocks and crypto and risk-on assets, I believe, do very well the next 4 to 5 years until what we'll talk about after. So the money supply is simple. You can go on to TradingView and type in USM2, and it's basically the measure of money in the economy. All of the money in cash, checking accounts, savings accounts, and short-term deposits. And here's the thing, is when the government spends more than it collects and finances the gap by issuing debt, the Fed or banking system ultimately absorb the effective money supply. Now, the money supply is continuing to be added as they print money. Okay? Here's why this matters. More dollars chasing the same goods, assets, and labor is the basic mechanism behind inflation. So the Federal Reserve or any central bank, the ECB, doesn't matter who, Bank of Japan, when they print, this takes place. Okay? While the dollar invested in an appreciating asset can over time outrun that erosion. That's why the only solution for you is to learn how to invest. If you want to learn directly from me, you can apply down below in the description, okay? Now, interest rates cut both ways, okay? There's been $1 trillion estimated in annual interest expense on U.S. debt at the current rates. This is why Trump wants lower rates, like I said. The weighted average interest rate on all outstanding Treasury debt as of June of 2026 is nearly double the 2021 level at 3.5%. And the debt as a share of GDP, okay, above the World War II era peak the U.S. once treated, is a historical outlier at 124%. So it's super simple to understand this. Higher rates make the debt more expensive to service, which pressure the Fed eventually toward cutting again. But can they cut again if inflation is at a high risk? The Federal Reserve has a mandate to do two things: stable unemployment and keep inflation around 2%. Now, Kevin Warsh has publicly said he wants it at 2%. Not 2.2, not 2.8, 2.0. And I don't know how they're going to do that without raising rates. Now, what could break this story? See, it's fine isn't guaranteed, and maybe you've just thought to yourself, oh, it's fine, it'll just keep going. This bubble is going to burst. It's just a matter of when and not trying to time it, okay? Now, this was the World War II playbook. Let's take you kind of back in time. 1946, the US debt to GDP peaked at 119% after World War II, a level considered the ceiling of what a modern economy could carry, and it was treated as an emergency. So here's what took place. The US never paid that debt in a lump sum. 2 decades of strong economic growth plus periods of inflation shrank the ratio to roughly 23%. I just showed you on the previous slide that today it's at 124%, okay? US debt to GDP. So debt to how good the economy is going. US debt to how the economy is growing as well. Think about that. It's higher than World War II. Now, stocks keep going higher. So when we talk about assets, this money is always looking for a home, right? Money has an assignment. It's always looking for a home. The S&P has hit an all-time high over 20 times in 2026 alone, crossing 7,600, up roughly 29% from a year earlier. Companies like Micron have, crossed the $1 trillion market cap. Equities booming. Now here's the situation. This isn't a coincidence sitting to the next debt story. It's arguably the downstream of it. Cheapish money, government spending, flowing into the economy, and a dollar that buys a bit less each year all push capital towards scarce assets. And that's why I'm bullish on crypto. Make sure you apply down below to work with me. Okay? Now, last but not least, dilution doesn't hit everyone the same. So you have asset holders, stocks, real estate, businesses, scarce assets like Bitcoin. Wealth tends to compound faster the bigger the debt problem gets. That's why you have no other choice but to learn this information, in my opinion. I don't think everybody should be trading. You definitely should not be trading Forex, but you should be learning how to invest. That's like the foundation, whether you learn from me or somebody else. Okay, because if you're just saving and saving and saving, that money is being eroded by inflation. Okay? Now, debt panics get clicks. That's not what this video is. But debt dilution is the actual mechanism. Okay, write this down. The debt is going to collapse the economy tomorrow is a better headline than the debt will slowly be diluted away 20 years while assets prices absorb most of the damage. The second one is closer to the historical pattern. It's not going to be like, oh, it's going to collapse today. It's dilution. It takes time. When something gets diluted, it's not overnight. It's not instant. It's a mechanism that was designed to be diluted, and that's the debt system. And that's why I'm such an advocate of buying assets, okay? Now, I want to give you 4 contrarian angles on this debt story. The debt clock is a distraction from the real number. Number 2 is a weaker dollar isn't a side effect of the debt problem. For a government that is indebted, it's arguably the least painful way out. I want to give you a fact here. The U.S. has run a deficit in all but a handful of years since 1970. Okay, so they've worked through this. And then here's the biggest risk. The one thing that breaks the slow dilution path is a loss of confidence in treasuries themselves. Now, at the same time, stable coins will keep treasuries relevant. We need the Clarity Act to pass. That's the scenario worth actually watching, not the debt total. The moment that there's no longer belief in the dollar, this entire thing falls apart. If there's belief in stable coins, there's belief in the dollar, and the cycle continues though. So do I think this bubble pops anytime soon? No. Do I believe it happens in the next 50 years? And that's an easy statement to say. But yes, eventually I do believe that. But look, this isn't reassurance. It's asymmetrical. It's asymmetry. Okay, the debt doesn't get paid off. It just gets rolled forward. And that process rewards people who hold productive, scarce assets. And if you don't, you get taxed. And inflation robs you. And it destroys you. So I want to leave you with this. Okay, not advice, but a framework to think with. Okay? Number 1 is understand dilution isn't doom. Number 2, its ownership is going to beat cash long term. And number 3 is the risk case still deserves real weight. So should you still be paying attention to the debt? Sure. but you should be more attentive to where's my money going? How much am I saving? You know, this dollar that I just earned from my job or my business, does it have an assignment? Is it getting planted? Or am I just praying and hoping that I beat inflation? Am I praying and hoping that this is not the top of the market? See, I believe in prayer, but prayer in the markets is not a strategy. You need a strategy. Down below, you can click the link to apply directly to work with me. And if you are qualified, myself or one of my team members will reach out to you and we'll help you take the next steps. Be sure to hit subscribe and go apply down below.